Welcome back to another episode of Off the Clock Podcast. I'm your host, Mark Paz, and today we have yet another interview for you all. But before we get into that, make sure to go follow me on X, on Instagram, on Facebook, on TikTok, all right? Because I am also doing a 100-day content challenge that if y'all have not watched it yet, go ahead and make sure y'all go and follow my journey from here on out, all right? Because today is day 31, and tomorrow will be day 32, and we still got 70 days left, guys. We still got a bunch left to go. So y'all go ahead and follow my journey on that. But while you are here, make sure to go ahead and swipe up, click subscribe, and hit the ring button so you can be one of the first ones notified whenever an interview of mine gets popped up. All right, so with that being said, let's go ahead and get into this interview. Today, we got a special one, folks. We got someone who can do it on and off the field. All right. Not only is he an all-conference athlete, he's an all-academic athlete, all right? Not only is he a football player, he's a petroleum engineer major. So I don't know how he finds time to become one of the best in our conference, but somehow he does, all right? He's already going to be written down in UTPB history books. So with that being said, we have the one and only wide receiver, Ben Patterson. Let's get it.
Off the clock, never needed no wristwatch. Toast up, cheers to life, but this ain't no pit stop. Ayy, my words don't get you to the top. Speak life into the mic like Mike at 90, pass me the rock. My words will touch thousands on the block, without a doubt, but here's a reassurance on me, we lie. Ayy, off the clock, baby, but we tuned in, dialed in. Feel like Cat, how we always winning, man. It's up.
All right. Ben, thank you for joining the show. I really appreciate you taking the time to go ahead and join me. So thank you. Will be episode 14 of season 4. So I appreciate you taking the time to join me here, man.
Yes, sir. No problem. Thank you so much for having me and inviting me.
So the first thing that I want to talk about, we're changing up how I usually start off the shows. Usually I start off the show, you telling me a little bit about yourself, but I found something interesting about you. I just got to go ahead and talk about it in the beginning. You are a petroleum engineer major. What got you into that? Whenever I think that, and then you're also an athlete, I think that's a lot of time that you're spending doing a lot of homework, a lot of working out. How do you manage to do that being in that major?
First, it's it's very hard, not gonna lie, and it does take a lot of sacrifice and dedication, but it's just something that I have a passion for both academics and athletics. So whenever you have a passion and truly like enjoy both and want to be great, it's for sure doable. And the thing that really helps the most is I have a great coaching staff, my head coach and receivers coach that both understand that I also want to be a great student and a great athlete. So they're very accommodating of my schedule, but it does get tough. It does get very challenging whenever sometimes like late at night, I'm up studying, I'm up doing homework. And then after that, then I'm still like in my playbook. So balancing both is definitely a struggle, but it's gonna pay off, I know for sure in the end. And next year, May 26th, whenever I graduate my petroleum engineering degree, I know it's all gonna be worth it.
Yeah, 'cause I mean, still, obviously, it shows that your work has been paying off. You still end up getting all academic honors. Like, how does that feel knowing that you're also getting honors on the field because of what you do, and also off the field because of what you do in the classroom?
It's a great feeling, and it just shows that the hard work pays off. And it's nice to know that you can succeed in both. And you don't have to just be all academics and no athletics. And you don't just have to be just a great football player and then just lag behind in the classroom. You can do both. And if you put your mind to it, it's for sure doable. And it's really exciting whenever at the end of each season, the Lone Star Conference recognizes you for both your on the field achievements and off the field achievements.
And the other thing that I saw, and I ended up going through your LinkedIn, Obviously, I found some of this stuff, and you're in a leadership role for an organization called the Petro Bowl. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. So it's this competition that happens each year, and it's like all the petroleum engineering colleges will go to a location and basically compete like Family Feud style and then just compete over petroleum engineering questions. And this past year, it happened at the University of Southern California in Los Angeles. So we got to go fly out to LA in February and see USC's engineering building and campuses, and we competed there. And I was in charge of our UTPB, our chapter. I was in charge of the petrol bowl for us, so like setting up our flights, our hotels, and getting like all the logistics squared away. So it was me and then four of my other classmate petroleum engineering students. This past February, we got to go to USC and compete. And then
Is
we
this When does this happen? Before during the season or okay, not during, but after the season?
Yes, sir. It happens after season, so in February. So we were in winter workouts.
And what's that experience like getting to go out there to USC for something like this?
It was super exciting, and it was really nice to go and see their engineering building and go see some of their campuses and different academic buildings, and then also just to be around like-minded individuals. And I think it was, I want to say 20 different colleges and universities, and just to go talk to them, see how their uh, experience is going, how they're coming along in their engineering journey, and then just to be able to compete against them is super exciting. And I'm competitive in everything I do, so I want to win in that too.
So what is the environment like? Because these to me, looking at it from afar, seems like two totally different environments from football and doing what you're majoring in. What are the two big differences in those environments? Or do you not see a difference at all?
I don't honestly like I don't see a difference because in both you're around individuals that both are driven and want to succeed. So it's like I just flip a switch. So whenever I'm on the practice field, I'm around my teammates, my football teammates, and we want to succeed. And we're practicing in the weight room lifting every day to go out on Saturdays to be able to compete and win and put our best foot forward. And then whenever I go into class into our engineering building, I flip a switch and I'm around my classmates and we all are working together, studying together to beat a common goal, which is basically we know when our test day is coming up and we all want to succeed so that we can all graduate and go out into our field. So I don't honestly don't see a difference because in both capacities, it's just we're going up against a common goal, trying to win. And like when I'm with my receivers in a film room, we're studying tape of who our opponent that we're playing. And then whenever I'm in class, I'm with my classmates and we're studying over our basically like our reviews to try and do good on our exams. So
So no difference. So you just got to flip a switch whenever you're on and off the field.
yes, it's just flipping a switch.
So now let's go ahead and let's talk about you on the field, man. You've been playing for a while. When did you start playing in your youth? When was that?
I started second grade playing football, and it was because of my neighbor across the street. He had a football team and his son played quarterback and I would always go over to their front yard and be playing in their front yard since like kindergarten. And he always was like, whenever you're gonna come and play, and my mom would just say no every time, and he kept just bothering my mom, like you should let him come play for our team. And then she finally gave in second grade, and that's whenever I started being able to play football.
And so your neighbor was a quarterback. So did you always play receiver? Were you always his receiver?
No, so honestly, whenever I first started out in second grade, I played DN. I played DN. And then,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah, I was like a tall, skinny DN. And then in third grade, that's whenever I started playing receiver, running back, and like DB. I'll just go
Hmm.
both.
And were those the positions that you played for the rest of your years growing up?
Yes, for the rest of my years, I was just always receiver and DB.
And so what other sports did you play? Was it just football, or did your mom let you at least go in playing basketball?
It was football, basketball, and track. And my mom, she really like pushed me in track because my older brother, he's 9 years older than me, and he's like a track star. And he ended up going to Texas State on a track scholarship. He runs the 400. So like
Oh,
growing up, I just wanted to be like my older brother. So his senior year, I think, was my third grade year, and that's whenever he was running summer track, and I was like, I want to run summer track too. I want to be like my older brother. So every summer since third grade, I would be running for our summer track club called Team Extreme. And I just wanted to be like him. So I saw him run the 400. I wanted to run the 400 and I became good at it too. And little did I know it's one of the hardest races and it sucks. And then once I got older, I was like, it sucks so bad running the 400, but I was just good at it.
you're so good at it, you just had to run it.
Yeah, it's a huge love-hate relationship.
So growing up, would you say track was your favorite sport?
Uh, I'd say football was, but I
Mhm.
honestly love track and I'm so glad like I did it growing up because it definitely translates to football and especially receiver because it's can you be faster than the person guarding you? And
Mhm.
that's a huge help for sure. My track background coming over to football for sure.
Yeah, later we'll talk about it. You have had some breakout plays that have gone for distance, and you can show off your speed every once in a while. And so, who were maybe some of your favorite players growing up? Some of your favorite athletes whenever you're growing up.
Uh, I'd say for sure, like second, third grade growing up, Calvin Johnson, Megatron. I wanted to be like him playing receiver. And then I'm a huge Steelers fan, so after that it was Antonio Brown. Like
Oh yeah,
I had a fat head of him in my room and like he was so exciting to watch.
you got one of those fat heads from the commercials, man.
Yeah.
I always wanted to get one of those fat heads of at least somebody. I love those. Did you only have one of them?
Yes. So I had an Antonio Brown one, and then my little brother had a Le'Veon Bell one in his room.
Oh, that's hey, those are some good years to be a Steelers fan, all right? I'm a Broncos fan, but for a while, I those Steelers teams, you just had to watch those Steelers
Yeah, we
teams.
were so good. We just didn't have a defense.
And so football and you're juggling other sports also. What role did your family and would you say other people played on you? Of course, you said you looked up to your brother a lot. Uh, what other family had an impact on you?
My mom, for sure. Because my mom, she's super into athletics and super into sports. She's at every game cheering the loudest. And she calls herself now she's the free Uber driver. Because from like whenever we first got into sports five, like she's taking us to all our sports events and she's going no matter what. So I saw it first with my older brother because he started running track his 11th grade year. And I was like six or seven. And my mom, wherever his summer track meet was, we're going. Whether it's in New York, we're on a flight with the coach too. Like we're going. And then whenever he got to Texas State, every weekend from January when indoor track season started to outdoor track season, we're going. Like he made it to nationals in Eugene, Oregon in June. We're in Eugene. We're staying in the same hotel as all the other colleges are staying at. And I'm just around the coldest college track athletes at like 11. I'm just seeing, I'm like, wow, like I'm seeing it first and up front. But that's just who my mom is. She's our number one fan, our number one
Mhm.
supporter. She's going to be there at every game. And she's going to be cheering the loudest. And like, I know when she's there. And she's just super into sports and she understands everything. So that's why like she's for sure my number one fan.
Yeah, I remember when I was growing up and I was playing all these sports, my mom, she would go out there and she'd watch us. But the funny thing is that I still talk to her about it to the day. She had no idea what was going on out there on the football field. She would just see me and she just start cheering. That's all she said she'd do. She saw me and that's it.
That's all that matters. As long as she knows who to cheer for, that's all.
Yeah, as long as she knows the number that I was wearing and she's cheering for the right team. That's all that matters. But so you grew up in Fort Worth, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes,
And in high school, you went to All Saints High School, but this is where when I was doing my research, this is where I got a little mixed up because it's not you didn't go to a public high school, right?
no. So I went to Keller Central my freshman and sophomore year, which is a
Okay.
6A public school. And then my junior year, I transferred to Fort Worth All Saints. It's in West Fort Worth. And then once I went there, that's whenever I finally like started to figure out football and receiver, and I like really like started taking it seriously. I was like, I can really use this to get to college, and that's whenever like it started to click for sure.
So what was the difference that you would say going from the 6A to the to All Saints?
I say the big difference is like on the field or off the field, like in the classroom or like just
Uh, Off the field, but mainly just in general because I've never this was the first time I found out that there was because usually you talk about 6A, it's UIL, but now that
mm,
you're talking to about the private school, it was TAPS and your Division
substances.
One
Yeah.
school. And so what were some of the differences that you would say between the two?
I'd for sure say just the size of the teams is a huge one. So I went from at Central, we had 700 kids, I want to say, in my sophomore class. And then I transferred to All Saints and we had 100 kids in each class, like 400 total kids in the high school. So it was like everyone knew everyone. And then while I was at Central, like even on the last day of school, you'll still see someone you've never seen before. Like you're seeing someone new every day. And then once I went to my private school, you're seeing the same people every day. You know everyone. And then our football team, we had probably like 35 to 40 kids. So like everyone has to go both ways except for me and like our quarterback.
The main guys didn't have to go both ways.
Yeah, just our quarterbacks and me.
And so during that time, like, did you find it whenever you're making that switch and you went to All Saints, did you find it better? Because I went to a small school. My graduating class was only 40 people in my class.
Um,
And yeah, I went to a small two-way school. And I found it a lot better because you're able to get connected with a lot of people, and then at the same time, you get to have that connection and one-on-ones with the teachers and people there. And did you find that kind of feeling whenever you switched?
for sure. I found it like it's way more personable with the teachers because they know you like for real on a like first last name basis. It's not like
Yeah.
when they're in public school, they're seeing so many different faces every passing period, every period. It's like you actually like get a real relationship with your teachers. And then for sure the coaching staff, like you feel like an actual connection with the coaching staff. And it's to the point where like they'll still text me like even now. That was 4 years ago.
And so during your so were you on varsity whenever you were at Central?
No, so my freshman year, I just played basketball and track. Like I was
Oh,
like
you didn't touch the field.
yeah, I was super into track then. And then my sophomore year, I went and played football like the second game in because I was like, I was seeing everyone out and I was like, I miss it. Like, I want to go back and play football. So then I went and I was on JV my sophomore year. And then that summer, I transferred into All Saints. And then I played varsity my junior and senior year.
And so what was that got you playing sports again? Like you said, you missed it, but was there something else that got you into like, all right, I gotta get back out there on the field?
I would just go into the games my freshman year. I was like, I can do that. Like, I was like, I feel like I can go out there and make plays. And I just miss scoring touchdowns. Uh,
Getting inside the end zone and all of that. So your senior year statistically there at All Saints, you had probably one of the best in the division or in the region there. So what was that feeling like being one of the top players in the area?
it was super exciting and seeing all the hard work pay off because that summer going into my senior year, like that's whenever like it really like started to click. And I like really took lifting seriously, running seriously. It was just hard because that summer, that spring break going into my senior year was when we went into COVID. So it was
Yeah.
literally just all on my own and like we couldn't live with the team. So I was going to Planet Fitness with my dad with my mask on that whole time and just lifting there. And then just having to go run routes. And my little brother was the like my quarterback for me. So that's whenever I took it seriously. And then we came back and I think I want to say like summer workouts like that June was whenever I was like seeing my teammates again. And they're like, wow. And that 2 month, 3 month span, I got a lot bigger, got faster. And I saw like firsthand, if you put the work in, it's gonna pay off. And like the work shows. Like what you doing whenever no one's watching and the lights aren't on, whenever the lights come on, you only are gonna reap what you sow in. And I saw that firsthand.
And so was there a certain time during your senior year where you were like, all right, like, yeah, I can do this. I can play at the next level.
For sure. I want to say our second game, we played Nolan Catholic, who's one of our is our biggest rival at All Saints.
Mhm.
And I had 2 touchdowns versus him. And I was like, yeah, I'm I feel like I can do it if I just keep my head down and keep working hard. I can go.
And so 2021 was the year you graduated, right?
Yes.
So I graduated in 2021 also. Now, as you said, going into our senior year, that's whenever COVID hit, that spring going into our senior year.
Yeah, that's been
Did
right.
did COVID have a effect on y'all's season that year? Like, did it make
Mhm.
y'all's season shorter, or did y'all have to push
Yeah.
back when y'all started?
Yeah, so we pushed back when we started to I think like that last week of September, midweek, second to last week of September, instead of starting like, like that last week in August. And then my
Mhm.
senior year, I only got to play 7 games. So we played um 4 regular season games because we played our first game versus Azel, who's a 4A team, and they're usually pretty good. They go like to the third or fourth rounds of public school 4A, and like they had like 40, 50 more kids on their team than us and we beat them 70 to 50. Like our offense was good my senior year. And then that Monday, one of our coaches ended up getting COVID. So then we had to quarantine for 2 weeks and we didn't practice for 2 weeks. Like we had to just stay at home and couldn't play for those 2 weeks. Then we ended up coming back after that. And that's whenever we played Nolan Catholic, our biggest rival, off of like no practice for 2 weeks. And then we lost a close game to them. Then we played another game. And then after that, um, another coach, I want to say, had COVID. So then we had to quarantine again. We played another game. And then I think a team that we were about to play had COVID. So we didn't play. And then we just went right into the playoffs. And then we ended up winning our first round game by like 20, won our second round game by like 30, I want to say. And then we ended up playing Nolan in the semifinals. And we ended up losing by 4. It was a close game, like one of the funnest games I've ever played in. But it still
Was
hurts
there
to
a
this
moment you
day.
remember for that?
Yes, I still remember it. It was want to say we were up by 3 and we had a play in all week. It's basically like a trick field goal play. If we get into the 40 or in the 30 or 40 yard line, area on the on their side of the field, and it's fourth and short. We're gonna send our field goal unit in, but like I'm gonna run off and act like I'm talking with our quarterback, like we're in an argument, and then but our quarterback stays on the field, and then we hike it and throw a touchdown to our quarterback, and we did to go up 10, and but the refs called a flag for deception, which I still have no
What?
idea. I have
What?
no idea because
Man, I feel like that happens a lot.
isn't the point of football to trick the defense? I feel like that's a huge part of the game is you're trying to deceive the defense. But then they ended up backing us up, and then we missed the field goal, and they went down, scored a touchdown to go up four, and then we had like 30 seconds left, I want to say, in the game, and we ended up losing by four. And that loss, that one still hurts to this day.
Yeah, especially the way it the
Yeah,
way it ended with the penalty. I would have been beyond pissed by that.
yeah, that one hurt for sure.
And so that the other thing I wanted to ask about the time during COVID, like were y'all as students, were y'all still going to school or were y'all still online?
So that rest of my junior year, we went all online, and we were just
Hmm.
on Zoom. And then the start of my senior year, you had the choice to go in person or go online. And so I was just online. So like right after school ended, then I would drive up to All Saints and we would practice after school.
Yeah, 'cause I remember for my senior year, at first, like the first few weeks, we started out, everybody was online. And then if you were gonna play sports, you had to go to class. Like there's no talking about it. You had to be there at school so you can go to practice and everything. So it's been a lot. It's been very different for everybody that I've heard. I know there's other school here, other high school here that they did their whole senior year. My buddies, same class as me, whole senior year online. And
Yeah, I
was
did.
that the same for y'all?
Yeah, you had the choice. So I did my whole senior year online, and it was. I mean, I regret, not regret, but like I low-key feel sad that I missed out, seeing my friends in school. But at the
Mhm.
same time, I always just want to make sure that I was good to go on Saturdays and be able to play. I mean, on Fridays and be able to play. And then also when basketball season started, I wanted to make sure I never had to miss any games. And then, I mean, it was cool on Zoom. I mean, like you could be in class playing 2K. Like it was
I couldn't, man. I couldn't do
like
it. Like I was not good enough academically where I could stay at home and do that. I remember there were some days where I would be on Zoom and then she'd think we were working and I'd turn off my camera, sit on the couch, and I just watch TV, man. Like, I could not. I was not able to do online at all.
Yeah, and then also, being able to wake up like 10 minutes right before class. That was also pretty cool.
I remember there was one time I was on a Zoom call with my math teacher and I closed my eyes, man. I closed my like a few minutes
Yeah.
in. Next thing you know, it's like 30 minutes after classes ended.
And you're the
The
only
Zoom
one
is
left
still
in the
on. Yeah,
Zoom. Yeah, I've been there before.
it was there, man. It was
Yeah.
terrible. She made me turn on the camera for the rest of the year. It was bad.
Ooh, yeah, I've been there before. You always had to blame it on Wi-Fi problems. That was the answer to every time. That,
Yeah, nah, man. I had to go use the restroom. I had to go do something. I don't know what happened. My bad.
yeah, because they don't know if your connection is good or not. I don't know.
Exactly. They don't know. They don't know if it's true or not.
Yeah, that one. But then, yeah, we definitely had one teacher though that she would always make sure our cameras had to be on. So because
Like, nah.
people falling asleep.
And so and so how was your recruiting process like throughout your high school years? I know about almost everybody who I talked to and asked this, they say COVID had a huge effect on them. Was that the same case for you?
For sure, it did have a huge effect. So going into my senior year, yeah, I only had one offer, and it was to Oklahoma Baptist. I went to a camp there, and I got offered right after the camp. But the only thing is, they didn't have my major because I wanted to major at first in mechanical engineering, and they didn't have engineering program. So my mom, she was like, no, you're not going there. You're not going to change up your major just to go to a school. You're going to go to a school and I've been super passionate about engineering since I was in second grade. And then my mom, she's a school teacher, so she really pushes
Okay.
academics and she cares so much about academics. Like I'll never forget, think it was like eighth grade, and she was like, "You'll never have any problems from him." And like it was like, if you get below a C, you can't play. She was like, "If he gets below an A, he won't play. I'll sit him out myself." So like anything below a 90, that was fear to me. It wasn't below a 70. So my mom, she's super strict about academics. So I had that offer, and then I got offered throughout my senior season to Mary Hardin Baylor. And those
Mhm.
were my only two offers going like at the end of my senior year. So I for sure say it was in definitely a impact because of seniors being able to stay another year and teams not
Yeah.
having, more scholarship spots.
And so how did UTPB end up on your radar? Did it happen later on in your senior year, or when was that?
So that summer after my senior year, I ended up going to a football camp at Abilene Christian. It was a satellite camp. So it
Mhm.
was, I'm gonna say 10 other universities there. And honestly, I never even heard of UTPB, but the old receiver coach here, shout out Coach Messenger, after the camp, he came up and talked to me. And I really thought like I was gonna get a bunch of offers because I ended up running a 4.43 at the camp. Like I was
Dang.
fastest at the camp. And then he came up and talked to me. This was the first week of June, I want to say.
Mhm.
And he ended up talking to me. We followed each other. And then after that, I went to a couple other camps. I went to like Texas State, um, or else Texas Tech, SMU, and then I just didn't get any offers. So I ended up going to a prep school in Atlanta for that fall of 21. And then uh like Thanksgiving time, Coach Messenger ended up hitting me up again and he offered me and he did an in-house visit like that first week of December. I came out to Odessa and took a visit here, and then I was in school enrolled January 10th of 22, and then I've been here ever since. So it all happened in like a month.
You're just moving from one place to the other.
Yes, because my mom, she was like, "You're gonna be in school somewhere in January where I don't have to pay, and you're gonna go there." And she's like, "This is it. So you better find somewhere." So I was like, I don't have no time.
It was something or nothing. You're going somewhere.
Yeah.
And so you end up going to UTPB. And so what was that transition like your freshman year on and off the field?
Uh, it was a huge transition, being away from home, but I'm grateful and just so glad that I ended up coming to Odessa because I really ended up liking it here. And I just had a great coaching staff. And whenever I got here, like all the seniors, they ended up welcoming me with open arms and ended up showing me the ropes. And I just had at the receiver position, like our older receivers, they ended up just really taking me in and showing me like how to become a good receiver.
And I mean, you've proven to have quite a well career there at UTPB. You're currently your career yards over 1,000 receiving yards. I was trying to look at the UTPB records. Not sure if they're fully updated, but I'm sure that you are in the top 10 or top 8 for the receiving
Oh,
yards, and
yes,
you
sir. I
are,
know. I
if I'm
know.
not mistaken, third in career touchdowns. And
Mhm.
so, what do some of those milestones mean to you, especially to me, in an era where a lot of people will leave universities, so a lot of these records don't stay or don't get as high in the record books as you may be right now.
it means a lot to me because I'm huge on loyalty, and some is most times the grass isn't always greener on the other side. So if you can stay and make a name for yourself and leave a legacy, that's huge. And that's what I want to do here. Whenever I first got here, I think it was because our football program only started in 2017, so it's super new, and
Do
it
a
was
new program.
a new program for sure. And it was just a lot of seasons of just 5-5, 5-5, and it's huge that my sophomore year we ended up going 10-2 and winning the Lone Star. So it's huge that we're making Odessa have a winning football team, and I just want to make sure that UTPB, whenever I leave, is known as a winning program and not just mediocrity and 5-5. And then on the personal side, I want I want to get that career receiving yards record and receiving touchdowns record, and I know that it's for sure a possibility because
Yeah.
I want to say right now I'm 700 yards behind first place for our all-time career receiving yards record. And it's my uh, MJ Link. He was here my freshman year. He was the receiver, and I for sure want to go get it.
Yeah, and I was trying to look at the roster. A lot of the a lot of the receivers that were ahead of you statistically were in yards. Were they, or I don't know if they were ahead of you statistically, but I know a lot of the receivers were seniors and graduate students. So now you're stepping in as the main guy if you haven't already been the main guy. And so how does that feel? Do you feel like another sense of leadership role building up on you, or what does it seem like to you?
For sure. So my sophomore year, that's whenever I first like really starting, and then I just had three other receivers, Dion, my Bow, and Cooley, and they're like my dogs. They were juniors my sophomore year, and then we ended up that year we all had 500 yards, and so four receivers with 500 yards. That's unheard of. It was
That's
really
pretty good.
like we were spreading the love around, and it was just super exciting playing with them because we all wanted to eat, but it was all like we got excited whenever we saw the other one make a play. And it was like, you know what? I want to go make a play now too. Like it was just when all four of us on the field, we're all just we want to go make a play, but we're
Yeah.
excited, whenever the other receiver makes a play. And this past year we all came back and all had 500 yards. So it's like we're all doing the same thing. But now they're all gone, and now it's me and my dog Traylon, and we're now like we're the two, and of course, I want to be able to be the leader, but not like just like I'm not like the hugest vocal guy, but I just like
Mhm.
to lead with just my play and just like lead by example. And that's what I intend on doing and want to do. And I just want to be able to, first and foremost, just make the plays to help us win because that's the most important thing to me. It's just winning. So whatever the team needs me to do to just lead to victories, that's what I want to do.
Yeah, and you talk about making plays. You've had a 83 yarder against Western New Mexico, a 71 yarder against my very own Tamoot, uh, a 54-yard play against West Texas. Which one of these were one of your favorite plays, or is there another play that I didn't talk about that might be your favorite?
Mm, I'd for sure say probably that West Texas play, my West Texas play, because all week we knew second play of the game, we're throwing a go route to me. So it's super exciting whenever you find out on that Monday, or yeah, Sunday night, we'll do walkthroughs after
Mhm.
the game, and we'll put in like our first 10 plays that we're gonna run. So all week from Sunday night to Saturday, the second play you begin to play. And it's just super exciting whenever our Coach McCullough has enough trust in me to, you know, and install a play for me on the second play of the game and take a shot.
Yeah.
And then whenever it comes to fruition, we call a play. Our O line blocks it up perfectly. Our quarterback, Isaac Moore, he throws a great ball, and then I go score a touchdown. And it's just super exciting that all 11 have to be in on and doing their assignment. And whenever it happens, it's magic, and you score a 50-yard touchdown.
And how is it playing along Isaac Moore? Because he is, I probably spoiling for people later on, but I'm planning on having him on my show in within the week or two, within the next week or two. So, how is it playing alongside him? Because if I'm not mistaken, he was a freshman, redshirt freshman this year,
A true freshman. He's
true
special.
freshman.
He's for sure special, and I'd say the like maturity that he showed to step into his role and become our starting quarterback after our starting quarterback Dylan Graham got hurt versus Angelo. I want to say like the first series. And then Isaac, he came in, and I want to say that next week we went up to Washington and beat, I want to say we were like number 9 ranked at the time, Central Washington. And
Yeah.
he stepped in, first ever start. And to go do that, that's insane. As a, I don't care what level of football, as a true freshman to go do that. He's so talented and special. And I'd say for sure he's one of them ones because he doesn't really, not the, most vocal guy, but he understands the playbook. And just to have all that placed on your shoulders after just the huge expectations we had coming into the season with Dylan, and who's special too. And it's so unfortunate that he got injured. But then to just come in and to step into that role and still be able to lead us to victories is super remarkable.
And so, for you, how would you describe your playing style out there on the field?
Uh, I'd say my playing style for sure is just a deep threat. I want to go and make plays, and I get a lot of post and go balls because even if I see a corner or safety 10 yards off, I don't think that they can run with me. And in my head going into it, I think that I know that I can still get past them. So I say that for sure. And then right now, I'm just working on being able to like become special in the intermediate game, like on the digs and outs, and then not just be satisfied with just the 10-yard first down. After that, I want to make it at least, first man miss, two man miss, and turn that 10-yard gain into a 30, 40-yard gain. So that's what I'm for sure trying to do this year.
And so, how do you think your game has evolved over time from your freshman year till now and till going into next year? How do you see it? How have you seen it evolve?
For sure, just route running. Whenever I first got here, I didn't really understand probably all the nuances of route running. And now as I look up to like, Justin Jefferson, uh, like the Cooper Cubs, like just great route runners and just learning their tendencies and learning just like how they outside leverage, inside leverage corner, how they're playing you, uh, getting into blind spots, using rocker steps, like how to beat press. And I feel like that's what's helped me watching and trying to emulate that, put those things into my game.
And who are some of your favorite wide receivers now? I hate to put you on the spot real quick, but real off topic. Top 5 wide receivers in NFL?
Top 5, I go in no order. I go Justin Jefferson for sure.
Okay.
Jamar Chase, he's
Okay.
special. Like he can take a slant to the crib. AJ Brown for sure. Um, who else? I say CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb is,
CD, okay.
and then at fifth spot, mm, Um, I like who like that. I feel like he's really gonna take off. I know he's just a rookie this past year, but I like Malik Neighbors.
Malik. Hey,
Malik
no,
Neighbors
I
is
like
cool.
that pick. I like Malik Neighbors.
Any
I like it.
LSU receiver is one of the ones.
No, yeah, no, you're right on that. I mean, there were three LSU receivers that you just named. I
Mhm.
mean,
And then Brian Thomas Jr., he's top 10 already. He's
yeah, Brian Thomas after last season, what he did coming out of nowhere, but not out of nowhere, but I don't think anybody expected him to do what he
yeah,
did.
he's special. He's special.
Yeah. Another guy that I think some people may be mad that you left out is from the Texas, Nico Collins.
Oh yeah.
Nico is
You
real nice
yeah,
too.
yeah, he's top. Yeah, he could replace Malik Neighbors with you, but he's special. He was leading the league in receiving before he got hurt. And he was
Yeah,
on pace
he was
for
leading them by a big margin
yeah,
too.
he's on pace for like 2,000. Yeah,
Yeah.
he still got over 1,000. He's special.
Oh yeah. And so now I want to talk a little bit about your future and your goals. What are some of your personal and team goals heading into the upcoming season?
Uh, my first team goal is just every time is just to go 1-0 each week. That's what our coach preaches. And the most important game is the next game you're playing. So first game
Mm.
we're playing Central Oklahoma here in Midland, and they're a top 25 ranked team in D2. So that's going to be a great game. And our first goal is just to go 1-0 each week. And then after that is just to win the Lone Star Conference and to win every game. I want to, be a winner. And my sophomore year, we made the playoffs and we lost the first round, and that left a bad taste in my mouth. And whenever we do get back to the playoffs, I don't want to lose. I don't want to lose. So that's my team goal is just to go 1-0 each week. And then personally, I want to be an All-American and all-conference receiver. And I know I have the capabilities of doing it. And it's just about all the work that hard work I'm putting in now is going to pay off. It's going to pay off. So those are my personal goals, and then to, leave my name in the record books.
Yeah, I mean you're on your way, you're on the pace to doing that, all right. You're on the pace. And so if football takes you beyond college, what would your dream scenario look like?
My dream scenario is to get drafted into the NFL. And I know it's hard, especially a D2 football player, because no players were drafted from D2 this past draft. So it's challenging, but it's not impossible. It's
Mhm.
it's possible for sure. And it just all comes down to having a great year this year so that I can get open some doors and get invited to the combine, because I know that I'm gonna put in the work so that my if I get the when I get the opportunity to be in the same space as some of my peers and other receivers, that I want to be able to put my best foot forward and show that I'm capable of being and I playing on that level, and that just because you're a D2 football player doesn't mean that you're not talented. And there's so many talented players that I've played against and that I've seen in D2. And I just want to be able to put on and showcase my talents.
Yeah, I like how you brought that up because I had Deuce Zimmerman on my show from Western New Mexico last week,
Yeah, he's a
and
genius.
I asked him the same question about what does he think about people saying, or I heard someone say there's no difference whether you're D1, D2, D3, you're still a dog. There's dogs on every single level. It doesn't matter where, they just end up happening to be on a different level than what D1 is. But there can be D3 players that are better than D1.
For sure. If you're a dog and you have the mentality and the work ethic, and then of course the athletic ability and the talents, you can. It sometimes just comes down to You didn't get the same maybe opportunities coming out of high school, but that shouldn't, be a deterrence or deter you to stop putting in the work. And that if you go D2, it's still a great opportunity and it shouldn't be looked down upon. And you should, for sure, I know I'm thankful for that I, got the opportunity to come play here in Odessa. And you shouldn't look down upon it. And you should just be like, whenever I get to whatever school I'm at, no matter whatever division is, I'm gonna play the best that I can in that, okay, I'm here. I'm gonna kill it. I'm gonna go off so, hard that there's no choice but for NFL scouts to have to come and find me.
Mhm. And so the last questions I have, what's something that people may not know about you, as a person rather than as a football player?
Uh, hmm. Well, I mean, we kind of alluded to it throughout the interview, but I'm just really a nerd. Like I'm just like a shy, laid back nerd kind of. And like
I like I like how you you just say just a chill, laid back nerd. That's it. But I mean, it it's gonna pay off. The nerd skills, I mean, they work. It's gonna work because you're gonna do something good. And that's my next question. If football doesn't end up taking you where you wish it takes you, what are your dreams and goals after your collegiate career is over?
my dream uh is to get a full-time offer to an engineering company in the oil and gas industry and become a production engineer. So probably end up staying out here in Midland because the Permian Basin is huge
Yeah.
in oil and gas, and there's a bunch of jobs here. So that's whenever I graduate, I just praying and hoping for a great full-time offer to start working.
Last question. You watch Landman?
I actually don't, but I've seen
Oh,
some,
you ain't watch Landman?
I've seen
But
some clips, and I know that it was filmed a little bit here in at Rattler Stadium where we play at. So that's super cool. Billy Bob Thornton.
hey, yeah, you gotta watch Landman, all right? If you're joined into all this business, you gotta watch a little bit of Landman.
True, true. I'm a huge Friday Night Lights fan though.
Football, the TV show?
The TV show. I watched the movie and then also the TV show. I love the TV show. Like I've rewatched it a good 3 to 4 times all the way through. Like I love
I
it.
don't blame you. Hey, the TV show goes
It's so
hard, all
good.
right?
It's so good.
But yeah, that's all the questions I got for you, man. Hey, again, I really appreciate you taking the time to come join me on my show. It means a lot, and thank you so much. And like I tell everybody that joins my show, you got a fan in me all the time. All right, maybe not the day you face us, but you
Yeah,
always
we
got a
gotta
fan in me.
make the 8 hour drive to Kingsville this year. So that's gonna
Y'all are coming down to us.
be coming to Kingsville this year.
All right, that's
That
even better,
long
man.
walk from the
We get to
locker
see each
room.
other.
Yeah. Are you gonna be at the game?
Oh yeah, man. I work for Hovland Athletics, so I'll be there.
Yeah, it's gonna be exciting. We
I'm
gotta
I'm I'm gonna be doing the stats up in the press box. So I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna make sure I pay even close attention to your stats. Don't mess anything up.
for sure. That's gonna be an exciting game. That's-
But thank you for joining, man. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, off the clock, never needed no wristwatch. Toast up, cheers to life, but this ain't no pit stop. Ayy, my words don't get you to the top. Speak life into the mic like Mike at 90, pass me the rock. My words will touch thousands on the block. Without a doubt, but she's a reassurance on me, we lie. Ayy, off the clock, baby, but we tuned in, dialed in. Feel like Cat, how we always winning, man. It's up.